Every seller has the exact same question. What do I actually need to do to my house before I list? Here's the problem. You've already gotten 10 different answers. Your neighbor says repaint everything. Your brother-in-law says don't bother. It's a seller's market. Your house will sell anyway. So either you spend money on things that won't move the needle, or you skip things that actually will. Either way, it costs you money. I'm Jessica Beganski with eXp Realty, and I've been selling homes in West Hartford in the Farmington Valley for more than 20 years, leading area offices and coaching agents across the country. Today, you're going to get the actual list. What to do, what to skip, and why. But before we get to the list, I want you to understand why this matters so much. So you've heard the old saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. It's especially true in real estate. The median days on market here in Hartford County is around 7 days. That means you have roughly 1 week to make your entrance. 1 week to capture attention, generate showings, and create competition. A home that lists before it's ready burns through those first critical days. Buyers who scroll past on day one almost never come back, or if they do, they're going to be looking for a deal. And here's something I want you to hear. Even in a seller's market, preparing your home still matters. Now, you might sell quickly either way, but without the right preparation, you could be leaving money on the table. So let's make sure that that doesn't happen. Step 1, price it right from day one. So I'm putting this first because many sellers think of pricing as something separate from preparation. It's not. Pricing sets the tone. Let me give you 2 numbers that you should know. Median days on market in Hartford County is sitting around 7 days. Also, the average list to sale price ratio is about 104%. That means the average home is selling for 4% over asking price. What do those 2 numbers tell you together? You have 1 week to attract an over asking offer. And buyers right now are expecting to compete. They're psychologically ready to write an offer above list price. So what happens when your home is overpriced and doesn't meet that expectation? Buyers walk through and think, this home isn't worth competing for, and they move on. When a home sits on the market, it becomes stigmatized. Buyers assume there's something wrong with it. Agents assume there's something wrong with it. Then you start chasing the market down with price reductions, which is the worst possible position to be in. You should price to attract competition, not leave room to negotiate. A well-priced, well-prepared home in West Hartford, Farmington Valley, and all of Hartford County right now should generate plenty of showings in the first week and at least 1 very strong offer. So before you spend $1 on preparation, sit down with your agent, get an honest, data-backed comparative market analysis, and understand what your neighborhood will bear. Step 2, declutter and depersonalize. Think about the last time you bought a car. When you sat in that car for the first time, was it messy? Were there coffee cups and old receipts everywhere? No, of course not. It was clean. It smelled good. It looked like it was ready for you to drive it off the lot. Your home needs to feel the same way. Now, there's a big difference between we live here and this home feels lived in. My rule of thumb is to aim to remove 30 to 50% of what's in every room. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but what you're doing is you're giving buyers the mental space to picture their own life there, not you. Clear your kitchen counters down to almost nothing, 2 or 3 items. Pull things out of closets because buyers open closets and you want them to look like they have space, not like they're about to burst. Here's another practical tip I give every client. Start packing now. You are moving anyway. Get boxes, label them, stack them in the garage or a storage unit. Every box that you pack and store makes your home feel more valuable, and it saves you time and stress when it comes to moving. It costs almost nothing, and the impact on how your home shows and photographs, it's enormous. Step 3, deep clean. A dirty home doesn't just look bad, it makes buyers assume things about the property itself. When someone walks in and sees smudged windows, dusty baseboards, dirty grout, they start to think, if this is what I can see, What am I not seeing? And that assumption goes directly into their offer price or their decision not to make an offer at all. Your home should look and smell like no one lives there. I know that's hard to maintain when you actually do live there, but for showings, that's the bar. Pay the most attention to what's at eye level. That's what buyers are actually registering as they walk through. Hire a professional cleaning crew if you can. Budget around $500 for a thorough clean. It's worth every dollar. Then maintain it every single day with a showing reset. 10 minutes to clear the kitchen, wipe the counters, and make your beds. In Connecticut's market, if your home is priced right, you won't have to keep that up for long. Now, odors, they deserve their own mention. Pets, cooking, smoke, these are deal killers. You often can't smell them yourself because you've been living with them. There are companies that will professionally deodorize your home if you need it. Hey, if you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It genuinely helps more Connecticut sellers find this video. Step 4, fix the deal breakers. This is where sellers can go wrong in two opposite directions. Some will ignore real problems and get blindsided at inspection. Others, they over-renovate and wonder why they can't get their money back. Let's talk about what you actually have to fix. The non-negotiables are the things that will stop a financed buyer from getting their loan approved, or that any buyer will use as a reason to walk. All of them center on three things. Is this home safe? Is it sound? And is it structurally solid? That means things like active roof leaks, electrical hazards, HVAC that isn't working, foundation issues, severe pest damage. These need to be addressed before you list because leaving them exposed shrinks your pool of buyers and hands whoever does show up a negotiating weapon. Then there's the category of small things that buyers do notice. Cracked tile, a doorknob that doesn't work, a light switch that doesn't respond, a towel bar hanging off the wall. They're tiny things, but they add up to one big impression. The home needs work, even when it really doesn't. Buyers tend to look at those things and they make a bigger deal out of them than they actually are. So get a handyman and have them fixed prior to listing. Now here's what I generally skip. A full kitchen renovation, a full bathroom renovation, and room additions. They take time, money, and can be risky if you don't pick fixtures and finishes you know will command a higher value. Step 5, curb appeal. Want to spend a minute on curb appeal because sellers consistently underinvest here and the return is better than almost anything else you can do. Think about it this way. Curb appeal is the first impression before the first impression. A buyer pulls up to your house before they've even walked in the door. And what do they see? What do they feel? Are they excited to go inside, or are they already thinking it's the ugliest house on the street? The ROI on basic lawn care and landscaping is surprising. Industry data consistently shows it returns well over what you spend. Mow, edge, pull weeds, put fresh mulch in the beds, power wash the driveway and front walkway, prune the overgrown shrubs, clean the windows. These things are relatively inexpensive and they shift the entire buyer experience before they walk inside. Now, pay close attention to the entry. Your buyer is spending a few minutes on your doorstep while they're waiting for their agent to open the door. If your door is faded or chipped, a fresh coat of paint makes a big difference. Update the hardware if it's worn. Make sure your house numbers are legible. Get a new doormat. Spending $50 to $100 here is a great investment. Step 6, cosmetic updates. Besides cleaning and decluttering, nothing transforms your space as quickly or as cheaply as fresh paint. I almost always recommend it. Fresh paint in a clean, neutral color makes everything feel newer, brighter, smell better, and make it more move-in ready. The safest choices are soft whites and warm grays, that's the gray beige range, and muted tones that photograph beautifully and appeal to the widest range of buyers. Remember, you're not designing your forever home anymore. You're designing a home that sells and has broad appeal. While you're painting, caulk. Fresh caulk around tubs, sinks, and windows makes a home feel clean and well maintained. It's a nice, tiny detail and doesn't take much effort. Lighting is worth a look too. Replace every burned out bulb. Make sure the light throughout the home is bright and consistent. Buyers making decisions in a dark room, they're going to assume the worst. And while you're at it, clean the fixtures. On flooring, don't replace it unless you really have to. Get the carpets professionally cleaned. If the hardwood is showing real age, you can have it refinished. Clean the grout and tile areas. These are things that buyers notice without realizing they're noticing them. If all of this seems overwhelming to you, go ahead and download my free seller's guide. It's in the link below. Step 7, stage for buyer psychology. You might think your home doesn't need staging. In my experience, every home could benefit from at least a light restage, even if it's just repositioning your existing furniture and adding a few strategic accessories. Here's the point of staging. It helps a buyer to visualize themselves in your space. That's it. Stage homes consistently perform better, both in offer price and in how quickly they go under contract. Buyers connect emotionally faster when a home is presented well, and emotional connection drives competitive offers. If your home will be vacant, I strongly recommend professional staging with rentals. In this market, you won't have to rent the furniture for long. Step 8, listing photos and media. Everything you've done up to this point, the cleaning, the decluttering, the staging, the painting, the curb appeal, all of it gets filtered through your listing photos. If those photos are bad or taken on a cell phone, none of it matters. Buyers in Connecticut are making their first impression of your home on a screen. They're scrolling through Zillow or Realtor.com, making split-second judgments about whether a home is worth their time, often just by the first photo. So I recommend professional photos, a floor plan, and even possibly a 3D virtual tour if the property warrants it. Now watch out for these 3 traps. Before I recap, here are the 3 mistakes I see sellers make over and over. Learn from other people's experiences. It's much cheaper. Trap number 1, listing before you're ready. I know it's tempting to get on the market fast, especially when you hear that inventory is low. But a home that lists before the photos are taken, before the staging is done, before the decluttering and the repairs are made, that home is burning its most valuable days on the market. Buyers who see it on day 1 and scroll past don't often come back. Trap number 2, over-renovating. Major renovations can return big or they can fall flat, costing you time and money. Always, always consult with your realtor. Trap number 3 is ignoring feedback or taking too long to do something about it. If you've been on the market for 2 weeks and showings are slow, that is important data. If you don't have an offer very quickly, that's important data. Don't wait a month to act on it. Adjust in days, not weeks, because every additional day on market is going to work against you. Your home doesn't have to be perfect. But if you focus on some of these things, you're going to be in a fundamentally stronger position than sellers who don't. Don't be fooled by the market either. Buyers are just as discriminating in a seller's market. Failing to pay attention to these areas will mean a lower sales price than possible. If you are starting to think seriously about selling, whether it's this spring, the summer, or even later this year, the single best thing you can do right now is have a real conversation about your situation. Every home is different. What matters is knowing which moves are going to make the biggest difference for your home, your price point, and your timeline. I offer a complimentary seller consultation where we walk through exactly this: your home, your goals, what the market looks like right now, and what I'd prioritize before we hit the market. It's no pressure, no commitment, just honest, practical advice. There's a link below to schedule that or get a home valuation started. And if you have questions, drop me a line. And if this video was useful, please share it with someone you know who's thinking about selling. It's the best way to help me get this kind of content in front of more Connecticut sellers who need it.